It depends how far.
Oh no. Hold on, I'll start. We'll lift it. No, you just stick next to me. Then how it counts too.
I think it's missing a lot of us actually. Oh, are you? Sorry, near me. You wanted to find
Putting a load of good cycle lanes along roads that don't need it.
Walk around the bike, you gotta build an infrastructure we like.
Speeches, not just from the MSPs and the politicians, and it's for the speeches for some children. The wave as you're coming in, don't forget to ring your bells. Anyone who's looking for t-shirts, this is your man here. There's a few more that will be picked up. Thank you everybody for coming, because we're all here for the same purpose, safer cycling. Wonderful mix of people, boys, girls, mums, dads, babies, kids, everybody's here, and lots of different shapes of bikes. Today, we have some of the most important people here in the country today. And I'm not talking about the politicians, of course. I'm talking about children. Because this is really what this is all about. It's about making cycling safer, not just for you and me, but for everybody. It's for getting safer cycling for folk who at the moment would love to cycle, but can't cycle. So what we've decided to do today, this is just about as much a speech as I'm going to make today. We're going to get the children to talk. So if you bear with me for a few seconds. We've got Daniel here who's going to speak to you.
I love cycling on my bike because it's a great way to keep fit and healthy while still playing with my friends. I love pretending to be Chris Froome and my brother pretends to be Bradley Wiggins on my bike. The reason I want the roads safer for cycling is because many cyclists have been killed and injured on the roads by reckless drivers. I want to be able to go for a big bike ride from my house without being endangered. Just now, if I want to go on a big bike ride, I have to go in the car with my bike and my family to find somewhere quiet, where it's all safe for us to cycle. It'll be great if Scotland was like Amsterdam. It's normal for children to cycle to school or cycle to go and see their friends. If I could cycle, it would keep me fit and also help reduce pollution. Cycling is so easy to do. It should not just be for elite athletes in the Commonwealth Games or the Tour de France. It should be made easy for everyone, including children.
Well done, Daniel. Okay, next up, I think it is Kyle.
Yeah, go me. I'm going to stop. I love to cycle, but I can't cycle as much as I want because the roads aren't safe. But thanks to Pedal Parliament and its supporters, you lot. POP exists because you want to make cycling safe and changing the thoughts of new possible cyclists from it's too risky to it's really good. The reason I support POP is because I want to cycle. Cycling down the Royal Mile today, I thought to myself, this is how cycling should be. There wasn't a single car on the road, but lots of cyclists, as it should be. Last year was my first year being involved with Pedal and Parliament. I think the government should give us cyclists what we need. Cycle paths separate from the pavement and road. Easy. Thanks for listening.
Well done, well done. Very well said. So, next up, we have the Minister for Transport, Keith Brown.
And the philosophy in Amsterdam, which is that the bike is king and the car is the guest, is a very strong philosophy for us to take here. But in order to do that, we have to affect driver behaviour as well. And that's why I believe the elements of money we're spending on making sure people change the culture is extremely important. Whether it's Give Me Cycle Space, the Nice Way Code, which I know some people have criticised, I'm unapologetic for that. It's simply the case on these social marketing initiatives, whether in the past it was drink driving or whether it was using your seatbelt. These things take time to change the behaviour of drivers, and I think it's extremely important that we do that. It's not as tangible right away because it takes time, but it's very important. And the bottom line, and I think having spoken to Mrs McNichol, who you'll hear from shortly, who's obviously been bereaved as well in terms of cycle deaths, we have to get the cycle deaths down. I understand that point. We have to have the same ambition as the Scandinavian countries to drive towards zero cycle deaths. And of course, a byproduct of that is that far more people will cycle. This has been mentioned by some of the children here today as well. The health benefits of that are huge, which is why, where I started, we have the health minister involved in this as well. This government is extremely committed to active travel. We've committed more than any previous government, but I perfectly understand there is more to do, and listening to you, working with you, I'm sure we can achieve that together. Thank you.
Wow, I mean, this is just incredible. I was here at the first Pedal in Parliament 2 years ago, and to see so many more people attending today is fantastic, and all credit to Dave and the POP team for doing so. I'm delighted to see so many people, but I've got something I want to ask you to do. I want you to go home from here, Google find your MSP, find your councillor. I want you to write to them I want you to say thank you if they are here, and there are a great many here. So please do say thank you to them for supporting us. There are more here than we've had before. So thank them. But I also want you to speak to the ones that aren't here. I want you to say to them, do you know about Pedal Parliament and its manifesto? If you don't, tell them about it. Let's get more support. Let's get more MSPs, more councillors supporting what they're doing. Let's make this country safer. That's all I want to do. I don't want anyone else to go through what we and other families who are here today have done.
Very much appreciated. Next up, we have Alison Johnson from the Green Party.
We're just normal people who'd quite like to get about a bit more safely on our bikes and walking. So we're here because we want more government investment, don't we? Now, I appreciate everything the Transport Minister is doing. And obviously, with you, I'm going to encourage him to carry on in the same vein. This is Pedal Parliament 3, and wouldn't it be wonderful if one day, when cycle and walking investment in this country is really meaningful, it's transformed our streets, it's made it safe for all our children and even our grandparents to be walking and cycling about. When that happens, when the investment is enough, let's all get on our bikes, let's walk down here and let's have party on Parliament. Will cycling help us cut climate change emissions and meet the rightly ambitious targets this government has? Yes! So what's not to like? Yay! Nothing at all. Nothing at all. Investing in cycling, in walking, in better streets, in safer roads is a solution to so many of the challenges we face, whether it's obesity. Think about all the hundreds of Scots, hundreds of thousands of Scots who don't have access to a car, who don't want to have to rely on a car. Think of all the Scots who find it difficult to afford bus fares for themselves and their families. This is a transport justice issue too. Perhaps this just seems too simple to be, a really sensible solution, but it isn't. It really isn't, and I cannot thank you all enough for coming here year on year to help, build on the fantastic organisation of Pedal Parliament, of Spokes, and all the many grassroots organisations who support this movement. I do want to end on a very, very positive note, so I'd just like to thank all those who've organised this event. I will come here every year until I see the situation change in Scotland for the better. Thank you all. Enjoy the rest of the afternoon.
Thank you very much, Alison. Very good. Next up, we have Willie Rennie from the Lib Dems.
If every politician was to experience what you have experienced today, cycling into Edinburgh, perhaps the budget would be a little bit bigger. I think it would be a lot bigger than it is. I see Andrew Burns here from the City of Edinburgh Council, the leader here. And I know that Edinburgh are doing a great job at gradually increasing as a guaranteed percentage of the transport budget from 5% to 6% to 7%. Every council across Scotland needs to be doing the same. If we get a guaranteed percentage, we can make real progress. We need to invest so much more in transport, in active transport. And with your support today and every year from now on, I know we can achieve that. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Really, today it is about safety. And I also make a commitment today to go back to my party and raise the issue of presumed liability, which I know a steering group has been formed for this week, and to really push this with my party. And I make a commitment, and I know that the Scottish Government is looking at what's happening in other countries for that, but it's not just about the infrastructure, as has been stressed to me by Councillor Leslie Hines from Edinburgh. It is also about how these new cycling routes are designed. We must have off-road segregated cycle routes next to the roads and not just a line on the road. That's not good enough for any of us. And I really believe very strongly that it's about education. But of course, it's not just education for cyclists, it's education for all road users. And I really begin to wonder whether we should actually have something more robust within the driving test for vehicle drivers to actually say, just think about the vulnerability of people who are not in a killer machine, and it's as simple as that. So those issues are important as well. This is about, as I started by saying, transformational change that all the parties must buy into in their next manifestos, and the way that you can do that is go back and say to your MSPs, especially the ones who haven't been able to get here today or don't make it a priority, of which there are still some, that this really matters and it's about a good quality of life for the whole of Scotland, urban and rural. Thank you.
Last politician today?
I'm an optimist. Well, I have to be if I'm a Conservative in Scotland, of course. I'm an optimist, and I think there is a lot that we need to do and a lot of progress that we need to look for and we need to make. But I do think we need to celebrate and be thankful for the progress which has been made. And I think we need to give credit to some of the things that Keith Brown said. We've already talked about what Edinburgh Council has done, and we as Conservatives have very much been supporting the progress that there has been within Edinburgh.
Chris Oliver from Roadshare.
Is to have a careful think about your views on presumed liability and let us know. We've got a Twitter feed at Roadshare, we've got a Facebook page. Please come along and like us and join us and help us with this, because this is going to be a massive flotilla that we need to get together to make presumed liability work in Scotland. So please support me. Thank you.
Give a huge cheer to the POP team. Really what POP is all about, in the end, is getting the message through to the politicians. And you can see a lot of politicians came here today. And it shows we're making significant progress. That's down to you guys turning up and making a lot of noise. Thank you very much and have a safe journey home. Thank you.